companies in the country. It's very important to the agenda, Mr. Garamendi, that you've put forth, that we've worked on, you worked on before you ever came to the Congress, and that is building up the jobs base, the manufacturing base, recognizing the contribution that this economy can make to future energy choices, to future transportation choices, all across the board, and do it here in America. But we're told, even in the time of this tragic recession, that we do not have enough skilled people to carry that mission out. We've got to build that. We've got to educate these young people. And that's what student loans allows to happen for people who can't simply write a check for the education of their children, who simply can't, say, well, I got a deduction, that's enough. That'll take care of it for this year. Families struggle to try and accomplish what every generation has, that their children will live better, will contribute more to America than we did in our generation. My grandparents wished it for me, my parents wished it for me, and they worked hard to provide it. But when you say now, oh, but by the way, we're not going to allow for screening for poor women who might have a breast cancer. We're not going to test for birth defects for young children. We're not going to provide immunization for young children. What are they going to do? Turn America into a third world? We struggle to get the same immunization into the hands of poor people all around the world because we recognize the public health benefits. But they've chosen this. So I'm excited that they've seen the wrong direction that they were headed with the Ryan budget, the Republican budget, to double the interest rates on student loans. But I'm very, very concerned that they decided that they would extract the price from women and children once again, as they have in the past, in their budgets. And so I urge that we can get this student loan taken care of before the 66 days that you've put up there, before this time bomb goes off in the middle of every middle-income and low-income family in America. So thank you again for making this time available to us to discuss this. We hope that we'll have good action on behalf of all Americans, women, children, students, and their families. It's quite possible to do. It's quite possible to do. All we have to do is reach across the aisle and work together and make sure that we don't make victims out of part of our society so that others can go to school. Going to school is important. Women's health is important. Childhood immunization is important. And so are dealing with birth defects as the best we possibly can. We owe that to those families, to those children. So thank you very much for this.
Mr. Miller, thank you for the dedication that you've made over many, many decades to education, to the well-being of children and the labor and workforce here in the United States. There's very few men and women that have spent a number of years and have been so successful as have you in making it possible for kids to get an education and for adults to get an additional education. We didn't talk about all of the elements of the educational system. We've really focused tonight on the student loan, the Pell Grants, and the reductions that the Republican blueprint would impose upon the United States, as well as the tax policy that has come from that blueprint, which essentially is a tax policy of continuing to reward the super wealthy while at the same time taking away from the struggling middle class, the men and women that are working every single day to keep their food on the table, their family in the house, pay the mortgage. It's one of the most unfair tax policies that I've ever seen in the many years that I've been involved in public policy. It goes well beyond that. I want to also make just a couple of points, and if you would just stick around a second, I want to come back to the education of those men and women